As with any well laid out plan, you need to have a backup plan, and in our case, a plan C.
Welcome to the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're Ingrid and Jim, a couple seeking new adventures aboard our 37-foot sailboat, Indigo. We had a fog delay leaving on our first day of travel, which was fine. It lifted pretty quickly, and we headed up north towards our destination in Langley.
It didn't really change our plan much because we had favorable tides and currents. And overall, aside from the fog, we had fairly good weather.
Along the way, there are various ferries that go back and forth from the mainland out to the peninsula. Dodged 2 ferries between Edmonds and Kingston, and then the next round is between Mukilteo and Clinton on Whidbey Island.
Whidbey Island is the 4th largest island in the continental U.S. We sailed up the east side of the island to our first overnight stop.
We anchored successfully, and we took the dinghy to the marina and headed up the hill into the town of Langley, where we are meeting some friends for lunch. We're going to meet at the Langley Kitchen. I've heard great things, and so looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's a minus 1.8 tide. Quite a climb to get up.
We are at the Langley Kitchen in Langley. And the food is homemade breads and pastries and salads and soups and sandwiches, and it's probably the best place to have lunch on Whidbey Island, I'd say.
I think it's amazing.
We visited a glass blowing studio.
This was really fascinating, watching them blow glass right there on the spot. Everything from heating it up in the kiln to shaping it in the molds.
It's always fun to watch them actually blow the glass right there. Afterwards, we walked down to a wine bar in town and had a nice glass of wine in a beautiful setting that overlooks the water. I highly recommend it. It's called Ealot and Hunter.
Rich peach and apricot notes. I just read that off the sheet. I have to say, we've tasted a lot of local small wineries, and some are hit and miss, and this was definitely a hit.
Last stop, of course, is the Star Store, my favorite. Anything that you need, you can find there. One-stop provisioning place.
We then headed back to the boat, took the dinghy from the marina back across using our little torpedo, and kind of hunkered down for a pretty rolly, a little bit of a sleepless night aboard the boat.
Because we did have 20-knot winds overnight.
Next morning, the winds had quieted quite a bit, and we headed north up to Holmes Harbor. Upon getting into Holmes Harbor, there were a couple container ships just anchored out there. Turns out, the local shipping ports were full, and this was one of several anchorages where ships could wait for open dock space.
We're planning to tie up to the local golf course dock and play a round of golf, and then hopefully just stay overnight on the dock if they allow it, and see how that goes.
We are playing golf at Holmes Harbor Golf Course. This is a beautiful little golf course.
On a hill in a neighborhood, and so you drive the golf cart through little paths between houses in some places.
They say challenging, and I think we would completely agree with that. I think we probably lost over a dozen balls.
A lot of wildlife out on the course. We saw a few deer that came through, which were cute.
Next morning, we are on our way to Coupeville, or so we thought.
Is it alright if I stay today?
As we got back out to the entrance to Holmes Harbor, we've got fog. So we're thinking that it's going to be there for about 2 more hours. Trying to decide if we should go through it or if we should wait it out.
Take my time, far behind, leave my pride. Oh, is it alright if I stay?
As with any well laid out plan, you need to have a backup plan, and in our case, a plan C. Check the weather. The weather is changing, as often does in the Pacific Northwest. You'll get these cold fronts that come in quickly, and in our case, it's going to last about 3 or 4 days. It's going to bring some wet weather, which is fine, but more so gusty winds, 20, 25 knots, and it's just be cold and rainy. So we are opting to abort our first plan and head back south. The beautiful sunshine, there's nice winds, and we're going to make the most of it before heading down to Edmonds for the overnight. Enjoy the afternoon and get some sailing in. Incident with the drone. The drone's been malfunctioning. We had it up in the air, we got some good shots. I think every third command it would react to, and so we were having a hard time retrieving it back to the boat. We had to take the boat to the drone. We had the sails up. The drone, well, long story short, it was quite a harrowing experience, and the drone captured it all. So good thing there wasn't audio. overnight. It was quite blustery. We were just really glad that we made the decision to come to a protected marina. Intuition sometimes guides your decisions.
Intuition and predict wind.
And predict wind.
Edmonds is a place that we hadn't really spent much time in before. It's
a cute town. There's a lot of restaurants and shops and coffee places and breweries.
Really a great little destination and short distance to walk to everything from the marina. Edmonds has some nice little parks, beaches, a great dog park, and a very unique, one-of-a-kind dive park. This is a real unique destination for divers in the area with sunken vessels and underwater trails. For lunch, we headed over to the market that specializes in lobster rolls and crab rolls.
We had a crab roll, which was amazing. We split one. They're really rich. They're full of butter and everything delicious. We stopped into a cute little brewery called the Salish Sea Brewing. We picked up a mason jar to go. You can get growlers or mason jars to go.
Let it all.
Join us in another episode as we make attempt 2 to circumnavigate Whidbey Island to encounter ghostly haunts, world-famous shellfish, and treacherous Deception Pass.